Welcome back. I'm going to go back to Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate. I did purchase the Eternal Duty DLC. I had been waiting on this because when it was first released it was incredibly buggy and almost non-functional. I've been getting some updates through Steam that says that they've got it working. There's still some bugs with it. But I figured it would be kind of fun to play around with it, see if it's in fact worth the $15. I expect it's going to be an expensive price for the DLC. I certainly would not recommend the Castellan DLC. I think that's a big old rip-off. You effectively spend 15 bucks for one unit that's immortal and max level. So it's almost like just buy to have a super strong units. I don't even like to use him. He does look kind of cool, but you can't even use the equipment on anybody else or change his loadout. He's just fixed there, and then he has a bunch of all of his abilities already maxed out as a purifier. So we'll get started here on a new campaign. The game still does have issues with crashing, so I will not be playing on Grandmaster, unfortunately. I've tried to do that 3 or 4 times now, and I have issues where the campaign bugs out. And one of them even happened when I was fighting the final boss on this game. I assume you've probably seen my other playthroughs, but I won't tell you who it is just in case you have not seen them and don't quite know who the end boss is. So the objective on this playthrough would be kind of go through it. I also saw when I was looking at people's comments on Steam and other areas that a lot of people have a little trouble with the mechanics in this game, so I'll just try to play around a little bit, and then now that I know how the actual game works after my first playthrough, be able to kind of walk through and see if it'll be quite a bit easier for us. So I'll see what I can do here.
Baleful edict, in the name of the God Emperor.
Dominus, who is this interloper?
Code scrapings indicate an inquisitorial transmission.
Baleful edict, prepare for my arrival.
Duty calls, Commander. We should open a Vox link.
Inquisitorial vessel, permission granted to come aboard.
Thank the God Emperor I found you. I must commandeer this vessel at once.
Impossible. We are bound for Titan. The edict cries out for repair.
The Tech Priest speaks the truth, Inquisitor. Our last crusade bled us dry.
I'm not blind, Knight. But heresy does not operate at our convenience. My destination is Koromar Prime, within this very system. Not such a taxing journey, I'd expect.
And what is it that you hope to find there?
This.
Beneath rotting skies, the air thickens with a world's final breath. Seeds planted in flesh and bone, watered with blood and tears. A warrior alone in the garden of a grinning god.
These are scraps of astropathic whimsy.
There's more.
It grows. It spreads. A great dispersal upon the etheric wind. The bloom proliferating. First, then Koromar, Then world after world, its roots spread from an ancient veil. Inquisitor, hear me! Hear me! Hear me! Who tends the garden?
The Astropath sacrificed himself to send that message.
Now you understand why we must investigate.
Commander, we cannot risk further damage to this vessel.
It is the chapter ship, Dominus. The Inquisitor has every right to request our support.
It is not a request.
Commander, with your leave, we will set our course for this Koramar Prime.
Yes. Good. That will do for now.
Alright, so obviously I skipped the tutorial. If you want to see that, I would check my first playthrough of the game, and I'll still play the cutscenes and everything. Obviously this is on the legendary difficulty. Grandmaster is not activated. The DLCs are activated, and we'll see what we can do here. I'm not going to go through all the dialogue options like I did on the first playthrough. Again, if you want to see all those dialogue options and me reading through all of them, we'll go ahead and check out that other playthrough for that information, but we'll try to get started. And so on the first mission here, you know, they give you some servitors. You go around. So on arrival, Lord Inquisitor Fakir has demanded that we investigate this planet for evidence of the grim events foretold by the astropathic be vigilant. So I think she's kind of a poorly written character. You'll see throughout the whole game she's you know, I don't have a problem with Inquisitors being kind of contentious and egotistical, but at times she just comes off completely tone deaf, and not for great reasons. So, you know, the intro wasn't terrible for her, but I think there's several scenes in the game where she's just almost petulant. But we'll see what we can do. So start the first mission off here.
Report. Signals from quarantine beacons detected in the upper atmosphere, but the surface itself is silent.
Plague, Commander. Send your squad to the surface.
Knights of Titan, you are the instrument of the Emperor's will. Make planetfall and discover if the Inquisitor's fears are founded.
Alright, so this is your basic loadout screen here. So you got Apothecary, Interceptors, Justicar, and Purgator. Looks like we have some abilities here. And it's been quite a while since I've played this game, so I gotta refresh my memory here. Oh yes. So if you wanted to turn them down the range pathway, you would go over here. Hammer Fist is definitely good because that allows you to collect seeds early on, because you have to crit them, and then when you crit them you get to decide what you attack, and if they have a seed, which you'll find out more about them in the future, that will allow you to get that right away. I'd recommend getting the Terminator armor because you immediately have access to them. You don't need to actually purchase them, and they give additional armor, and the reason that's important is the damage is reduced by the armor value, and the armor repairs every turn, so they have to keep shooting through your armor before they'll do damage to you. And the more damage to your HP, your units can become injured, and when they become injured, then they're taken out of the game for a while. So definitely recommend that. This ability, this is for Aegis Shield. That's like a defend ability. It's not bad. And that would provoke is actually pretty powerful. I played around with that on another playthrough. So what you can do is provoke units and then they have to attack them, and if you put them under Aegis Shield and you just stack a bunch of armor buffs, then they can just tank all those hits like crazy. so it's certainly something to play around with. But I'm going to go with the Terminator armor, and then I'm going to go with the Hammer Hand just to allow him to have that crit ability for the reasons we discussed. Health is always good, and 4 health is definitely a big boon. And coming down here under the chapter, I didn't really use that much of my first playthrough, but it's actually a pretty good ability. More importantly, I strongly recommend that you get the equipment, because there's a lot of really good equipment in this game, and by clipping multiple areas, that's quite beneficial. Rend the Inkling can be good. It gets through a lot of cheap units and does a lot of area effect damage, because for the early part of the game, there are times when your units become so powerful they do massive hits and damage with one strike, but they can totally get blown apart by cultists and just overwhelmed by the sheer number. Once you start to get later in the game, the cultists and things start to stop showing up, and it becomes more of chaos forces that are stronger, so then having your more powerful units battle is not as much of an issue. Which is a little too bad, which I think is too bad, because it's I actually think they're having variable unit types is more beneficial now. There's several new unit types that came out with the patches that have come since the last time I played this game, so maybe that'll add a little more variability. And then this is also a really good ability down here, so I'm going to try to rush that as well. So then my melee forces can do additional damage when I force strike, and it gives them the armor break ability. So that's all very powerful. So Justicars are extremely powerful units, and it's hard to go wrong with a Justicar. So those are going to be our forces there. And then I'm going to change his loadout. I have not really used the swords. They can be good. Their big thing is when they're struck, there's a 50% chance that you can block the melee. But that's not as big of an issue for us. So what we actually want is the hammer. And we want to use the hammer because if you use your force strike, it adds 2 damage. And then I guess we'll just do a 5% chance to crit. Or crit, no, we want to do crit has that because Hammer Hand gives you automatic crit chance, and this will stack up. So it'll give you additional damage. That's how I do that, that's right. See, it's been a while since I played, so... And then now that we've unlocked the Terminator armor, we can put that on right away. He gets 2 armor. Boom. All of a sudden he becomes a big boy. And then, yeah, you can just have a regular Storm Bolter. And for his war gear, what do we have? Oh yes, that gives you that, Servo Skulls, Medicae. It's not bad. I'll just keep the grenade on him for the early stuff. I really like the Psy Cannon. I think that's by far the best weapon in the game. Let's give him this, I guess. Psychic Onslaught, just an amazing ability, especially once you get him equipped later in the game. We will give him this, so he can have more will points. And then you're my Intercessor. So I actually recommend that you give the Intercessors the crit, because you want them to crit as much as possible, and the Falchions increase your crit chance. Although giving them maybe the sword to be able to block melee would not be a bad option. And then Mr. Apothecary will only be shooting from range, so we'll give you that. And then because you have the ability to heal, I feel like at least one of you needs to have the Servo Skull, because that's a free healing each turn. So really, it's if you don't know what equipment to give your guys, give them the Servo Skulls. Just amazing. I guess it will increase your crit. And you need to have the Nethakarum in order to use his healing ability, so just be aware of that, because you can build him out as a buffer. I just always like to use them as healers, because later on in the game you can give them Terminator armor, and one of the Terminator armor allows you to use your health once your will point's gone, so these guys effectively can use unlimited amount of heals, and then they can heal themselves. So it's just an incredibly powerful unit that you can use here. So that's typically what I recommend for a loadout. You can just give them all grenades, because you're going to be fighting cheap units for the first couple, and you can just whip them around, kill a bunch of stuff, but I think that should be fine. let's start the mission.
Commander, have your men look for signs of this plague.
Be vigilant, brothers.
Did they do something with the camera? It feels kind of different.
Onward, brothers. Be ready.
Yeah, so the units are always kind of spawned in very similar locations. I don't really like that very much, because it makes the maps pretty predictable.
It will be done.
But I guess they had to do what they had to do there.
Yes.
So we'll move everybody up as much as we can.
With haste. Storm.
I don't remember how close I can get before activating them is the thing.
What is your will?
The reason you want to do this is when you activate and discover somebody, your units get their AP back.
Arms at the ready. Standing ready.
Which is not good.
Unleash me. It will be done.
Alright, let's hold off on that.
What is your will?
Could teleport you. Let's do this. I got rid of guys Overwatch. We'll hold.
Here.
Oh, you're just out of range.
What is your will? Here. Unleash me. My blade is yours. For the Imperium!
Let's just reload you then.
Yes, Commander.
I'm gonna actually take damage.
At once.
Oh, you're gonna take damage too. Alright, well. Let's use that to defend. Guess let's just lock you down too. And have you throw your grenade and kill one of these guys.
We are the hammer.
Wait. Oh, they increased the amount of grenades you can have now. That's interesting. Or maybe he has the grenader ability where he has extra. I didn't actually look to see.
Stay down!
He's gonna, yeah, suppress him. Assume lob a grenade or something? No, Overwatch. Yep. That's fine. Another thing that's really cool about these guys is because they can teleport, you can come right behind them here.
With alacrity.
And then we can melee him. And that'll get rid of his ability.
I strike
And we can attack again.
Justice. My blade is yours. On my way.
Might as well use a little bit of your abilities. I don't think there's really any reason why I would have to waste your will points anymore. So I should be able to... Ooh, you're actually being overwatched.
I am here to serve. Yes, sir.
Yeah, there you go.
They will rot no more. Onward, brothers. Here.
And then your units auto-reload at the end of each battle, so you don't need to worry about that too.
Chaos stirs within the shadows.
Yes, I'm aware.
I am here to serve. Your orders. What is your will? As ordered.
Oh, you've already done your thing, I guess.
Wait, that creature.
Inquisitor, we have seen the dead walk in this way before.
As have I. Poxwalkers are evidence of warp corruption. This is no natural plague.
Your orders.
Now these guys are melee only.
Your orders?
So if you pretty much just put your guys into Overwatch here, it'd be pretty easy to get some kills. Now I wonder if they fix the Overwatch thing, because what they'll do occasionally is everybody shoots the same guy even though they're dead, and it wastes a lot of Overwatch shots, so I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen here. This will be my test to see if they fix the Overwatch issue.
I will need to examine this corpse and...
I will not tolerate this contamination spreading through my servants.
Do not obstruct me, tech priest. I will follow proper protocols.
Yes, Commander. As you command. For the Golden Throne!
Oh, I don't want you to run over there. I want you to melee him.
Glory to Xiphos!
Satisfactory effort. Now return with my carcass so I can set to work.
We will deliver them to you as soon as containment is properly confirmed and sanctified.
Be swift about it. If this plague has already spread beyond this planet, then we will have far more ground to cover.
Yeah, I forgot to show you guys how to check the innate ability, because I don't think I realized that that was even a thing on my first playthrough. Every soldier you get gets an innate ability. We have located evidence of vile poxwalkers on this planet. The Plague Lord's work. We have recovered a body so that the Inquisitor Vakir can investigate. And I can't get any... These are for bonuses you get when you complete the mission, but I haven't unlocked the armor yet. And then these are some of the experiences here, so nobody had enough to level. And we come here. We're currently repairing. The star map is pretty much deactivated right now. You can talk to these characters again. I'm not going to read these since we've already done one.
By all means. It seems the matter, but I hope he had a Y&D, certainly. I hope
on the other one, the barracks is where you can see your forces here. So when you go to your abilities and you go to the main one, yep. So he has the Grenadier as his innate ability. That's why he had 2 grenades. Okay, so they did not change that. What do you have? Starts with 2 HP. Oh, that's a good one. Hard to go wrong with more health. What do you got? 10% resistance. Alright, not bad. And what do you got? +2 heal whenever they're healed. Alright, not terrible. What do you got? +10 focus. Yep, that's a good one. Alright, and how about you? This deathless. This knight can not permanently die. He will not lose resilience when he suffers a critical wound. He starts with -2 will point. That is interesting. And I guess I don't really have units die often, but having less will points as a interceptor is a big deal because they're very dependent on their will points for all their abilities. So I don't know. That's that one's tough. I don't know how I feel about that one.
Protocol demand. I will not have the ship the bail. That is the waiting. He didn't define.
I don't think the text affects anything, but
waiting for new. I must attend to repairs.
You have my this one. It is very well. The Grey Knights. I had divining if we must.
But just in case it does.
You've taken enough of my time.
Research. All right, we're already researching automatically. I couldn't remember how that worked. Alright, so I think we just have to advance time if I remember correctly, because we're trying to get our plasma reactor up.
The Dominus has restored the star map to its full function. We are receiving a barrage of scanning data and astropathic scrapings from across the sector. This plague appears to have already spread its tendrils far and wide. We are faced with reports of 2 infected systems. We should monitor this infestation carefully and judge where best to direct our forces while the Inquisitor pursues her answers. Failure will cost many souls.
Alright, that's done. So I like to do this because when you get it fixed, then you can start getting servitors for free, and that is a rate limiting step in this game because I like to get my ship up and running as fast as possible. Because once you get your warp drive, then you can make sure you can get multiple missions done. The librarius will help you research your tech. Plasma reactors will unlock additional stuff. The shields will give you more hull integrity. Not quite as important early on in the game, but later on when you start doing ship-to-ship battles, it's more important. Same with the gun batteries. You don't need to waste your research on that. Exterminatus, I never really used it. I did play it on my second playthrough, which ended up bugging out because it was Grandmaster, and then I had a game-breaking bug where it just froze. But it's kind of cool. You get to see a nice little video during it, but it effectively wipes out a planet. The thing that really sucks about it, though, is later on you get these units that you can deploy around the map to help you travel faster and get additional bonuses. I forget what they're called. We'll find out shortly. And this wipes out anything that's connected to that. So Exterminatus you're definitely penalized for, but some of the maps that they use, and then the mechanical bay. I don't remember what. Oh, that. Oh yeah, that restores it to health if you suffered damage. That repairs it. That's right. The Augurum is the one that gives you those special units. The barracks allows you to get more troops if you end up getting lots of injuries. That way you can keep cycling through things. One that's nice about this game is when your units are injured, you can still deploy them out, but they'll have penalties, like either usually less will points, but I think there's going to be some other penalties. The meditation chamber, I think, gives you additional XP to help you level your units quicker. Not totally necessary, so I usually do that later on. Commune with the Fallen if you're suffering losses. This game actually is very interesting because when your units die, you can use their bodies to give bonuses to your other troops, or you can respec the troops using the body of the fallen unit. So very interesting way of doing that, but if you don't suffer a lot of losses and casualties, which I typically don't, it's not very useful. However, to get the maximum level and continue to level your guys past the max level, you actually have to have people die. So kind of a weird system. So if you're not having your characters die, then you can't get the strongest units. So I'm not quite sure what to make of that. This allows augmetics. What happens there is when your units are critically injured, they get an augmetic put on them. And interesting enough, the augmetics, I've only had a couple of them on my second playthrough, and they all seem to give, or at least the ones I got, gave them actually bonuses. So maybe it's not a bad thing to have your units critically injured. But I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, because I only had a few guys get critically injured on my other playthrough. And then this just helps with wound recovery, which is definitely beneficial later in the game. So we'll get started with this one here. The warp drive helps you move faster, do multiple missions, and then I really recommend that you get the Geller field going, because there's several penalties in this game when you go through warp storms, and the Geller field effectively bypasses it. So just those events are like, oh, your Geller field protected you, you're totally fine. So definitely recommend that. I don't think there's anything, oops, for me to see yet. Yeah. So we'll just advance here. Looks like we already have some corruption going, unfortunately. Three bloom missions.
Commander, our prognosticators have detected this bloom in 3 separate systems. We should examine one of them. I have identified this planet as a mission location to combat the bloom. Let us examine further. From here, you can see some details for this mission,
Nice.
including the resources that Titan's Armory will make available to us if we are successful.
The thing that's nice about this is it's so close that I can probably do 2 missions here, so I can get a Grimoire too. I would prioritize Grimoires first, I would prioritize Servitors first so you can get your researches done, then Grimoires to speed up your research, because each Grimoire gives you research speed. I don't know if you need to have the Librarius done first for it though. Provides a base 20% research bonus, which can be increased by upgrading. Oh yeah. So you don't need the Librarius to get the bonuses from the Grimoire, but when you upgrade the Librarius, each percentage upgrade gives you additional expedited research per Grimoire that you have. So it goes up exponentially. That's how that works, I remember now. And then over here is a Grimoire, so no reason to really go all the way over there just for that. So let's move here, and then we'll come up to here, because this looks like it's still connected. Let's just verify. Yep, see, I can get there. It will take almost most of my time, but I can still do it, so that's beautiful. So kill all enemies, nice and easy. Prognosticars, that's what I was trying to think of. I'm like, I know they do something, and that's the symbol for them. I didn't understand how that worked during my first playthrough. Let's see, our prognosticars have augured dark omens on this planet, and Inquisitor Vakir believes it is connected to the plague she is investigating. We'll explore and eradicate any signs of corruption. And we'll use the same forces here. Do I want to use the same loadout? I think so.
The psychic disturbances here echo those I encountered on Koromar.
The hive cities are abandoned, but there is life below. Brothers, seek out any corruption and purge it.
Alright, for this map I recommend that you just kind of run forward as fast as possible.
More horrors invade our realm. On the hunt. With me, my brothers. At once. Unleash me. My blade is yours. On the hunt.
Up here.
May the powers protect us!
No, don't go in there.
The enemies of man cannot stand before us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I seem to remember that if I did that.
Yes, Commander. As ordered.
So I can smoke these guys. And if I come here, it should hopefully knock them into the open.
Taste my fury.
I could use a grenade. Do some damage there if I have to.
Fill.
Come here.
Aye, sir. I must rearm.
Oh, that's right. No, I didn't want to do that. Well, I got rid of his cover, I guess. So that could be beneficial.
Here. Here. Warhammer.
Yeah, let's just use one of your grenades since you got two of them, I guess.
Run! Standing ready. Standing ready. Yes, sir.
God, grant me strength!
See them fall, brothers! In an instant. am with you. On the Imperium!
You're short. Gives you 2 armor. Yeah, not surprised.
Standing ready. Come at you.
Alright, so this is crit, so you can disable his ranged attack or you can stun him. On the higher difficulties, it's hard to get the stuns until you get more abilities, so I just tend to rip off their arms on these guys.
The Knights of Titan. For Titan! Empty.
That's right, now you're not going to get it because you got pinned, so you have 1 less AP.
This one will fall! Ah! Need ammo.
Alright, disable range. And you should have a 3rd attack, yep.
This battle is ended. I am here to serve. On the hunt.
Oh, their negative traits didn't come off. I guess it's still considered the same turn, so makes sense
What is your will?
with the mechanics in the game.
Moving out.
And you weren't pinned.
What is your will? With haste. Here. On the way. Unleash me. With haste. At your service. Affirmative. I sense something near.
Ah, there they are.
Yes, Commander. Yes, sir.
Alright, what do we got?
On the hunt.
Ah, that's right. You haven't had this upgraded yet, so he doesn't do a lot of damage yet.
Empty.
I don't really want to keep you out in the middle, though.
Your orders.
Or in the open, I should say.
Storm.
If I put you out here, that's gonna make you get attacked. let's do this.
Foe destroyed, Commander. Opening fire. With haste.
Put you under protection from the poxwalkers. And I guess we'll just give you more armor.
For the Imperium!
Totally fine.
Commander, I sense a massive spike in warp activity below.
It is a warp surge, Inquisitor. Such events are common in pitch battles between Saigars.
And yet your brothers have clearly restrained their powers. Something foul is at work below.
Yep.
I am here to serve. Mercy in death. I am here to serve. I have sanctified my road.
Whatever. We're pretty much at the end of the mission.
Need ammo.
This will get rid of their Overwatch.
For the Golden Throne.
Alright, you can come here.
Another falls to the Knights of Titan.
Let's disable his range.
All enemies have been cleansed. Good work, Commander.
Alright, there we go. Minimal damage. I don't think anybody should have any wounds. Nice. Alright, you are an interceptor. Yeah, let's get you in the melee so they can start becoming critters like crazy. The support fire is incredibly powerful once you start getting really good. Really good weapons. So, what is this? Force strike does +1 damage. Alright, let's do that. And this, so then he can keep getting crits too, so we can use him also to gather seeds. And I'm going to want to get the range here. Teleport boost can be quite powerful, especially once you start getting them all these autos, but there's just so many things I want to do, I don't have the points for it. Unless, again, you sacrifice your units. Alright, so I want to give him Terminator armor. And then I want to start boosting his heal, because I still think making these guys healers is the best option. And then you get these additional servo skulls, which is really powerful. Early on in the game you can use them to be a melee brawler, but I just don't find that to be very useful. He does have powerful psychic abilities, so you can use this to effectively immobilize units so they can't run away from you, which could be incredibly powerful. The Biomancy is good. This allows you to purify, otherwise you have to use your servo skulls to purify. And this is just increased movement and crit damage from melee, so you can stack that with the chaplain. And this is to increase stun, so if you're building a stun build, this is an incredible ability to have. This is just bleeding. Since the bleed occurs at the end of a turn, they still get to attack and then they die, so I prefer just to avoid the damage. So with the way the bleed and poisons and things work, I just don't really use it very often. I'm sure there's probably builds out there that show you how to make it better, because some of the apothecary's weapons add additional bleed damage and duration. So, like, especially on boss fights, it could probably be very powerful, but most units, as you can see, are pretty easy to kill, so it just doesn't seem worthwhile to me. Alright, so we'll come up here. Let's go to our barracks. I suppose I could just kit him out from the other screen, but I just want to make sure I didn't forget about it. Nice. Alright. Good stuff. So, I think I'm going to call it quits here for the day. I hope you're enjoying these videos and this is helpful for you guys. What do we got? 3 days? Yeah, you can't get anywhere. That'll help you. So maybe what I'll do is just do this. Start a new ship project. Wait, what? Oh, construction speed. Okay. I was clicking it, but it wasn't changing. That's why I was getting confused. I'm like, why the hell is this saying servitors for everything? Yeah, so dang, I would need to have improved reactor for that. Repair benefits of prognosticators, so this would let me start to use them. I am just gonna go for the plasma reactor though, so that way I can start upgrading some of these things to get the servitors going. So that is what I'm going to do. And that only costs 3 servitors. And then it costs Augmented Chamber and Improved Reactor 2, which I think is this, right? Yep. Yeah, that's right, because I had to upgrade a couple of these, then I can get that, and then I tend to go for the ship and some of this other stuff, so. Alright. Later in the game, the map gets larger, so then the prognosticators become quite a bit powerful, but early on, the map is fairly small, so you're able to get a couple missions done pretty consistently here. So we're effectively just in limbo for the next 6 days here, waiting for the Poxwalker map to get done. Alright, now I'll call quits for the day. I hope you're enjoying this walkthrough and these tips to help you have a better time with this game, and once we start to see what the DLC shows, we'll see if that's worth the $15 or not. Because certainly the Castellan is not worth it, and unfortunately I wasn't able to see what it was all about, since you have to go so far into the game first that it counts as playtime, so I couldn't even get a refund on it. So I will experiment with my money to see if you guys are interested in getting this DLC to get access to the Dreadnoughts. I hear it's only available on certain missions though, which is kind of disappointing, so you don't get to regularly deploy it. I don't know if that means you'll only be able to deploy the Tech Marine on certain missions too, or if you get that for every battle and just the Dreadnought isn't available, so we'll see. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.